Hey everyone, welcome back. 2001-2005 Toyota Rav4 broken coil spring. How to do this if you live in a salt-laden, snowy, terrible weather without getting the bottom bolts done out of the shock, because you can't, because they're so rusted in and you don't have the proper torch. This is the easy way to do it. Get in through the inside of the vehicle, undo the top nuts. There you can see them right there. Undo the top two that are up inside instead of trying to get out of that, which is totally rusted out. Coil spring is broken down below here. There's the brake right there. There it is there. Jack up the vehicle, put safety stands underneath. Use your floor jack underneath here, lift it up, undo that, drop this down, real simple. Then all you gotta do is get a pry bar onto this side over here, pry down, pull the spring out. There's your new spring that's going back in. Look at the gravel that we live with through the winter time here. So this is again something real straightforward. Jack up the vehicle, get the tire off, support stands, 14 millimeter, two nuts up top. Go from the inside of the vehicle. I'll show you. This is part one. Go through the inside of the vehicle, right? There's your two nuts. There's your washer, top washer, your rubber between. Yeah, that's funny, haha. And then your bottom washer. It's got a little lip on it. Stack them up. There you go. Easy access, no corrosion. There it is. Step number one. Camera's whipping around. So next step is I'm going to grab my big pry bar. I'm going to apply it. Like you can see, I'm just moving with my arm here. And then the spring is going to come out this way, out of the bottom this way. Same way, go back in. Pop her back in. So that's step one. Let's get going for step number two. Okay, I know that we cut away for a little bit in order to you probably missed a little bit of the video here, or you're going to miss a little bit of the video. In order to lower the suspension and everything, so shock is coil springs in already. Shock is unbolted from there. I had to use a 2x4 and I ran it from here to the frame and then pulling the 2x4 down to get enough space in here. And that still wasn't enough space because all of this and then trying to get the coil spring up on the inside there was your space is limited. So I didn't really shoot a lot of that, but here's what I used. Here's what I got on my magic toolbox: coil spring compressors. Basically, I just latched them on, basically squeeze the coil spring just down about 1.5 inches total, and by using the 2x4 as a fulcrum, there's a good loop for you, I'll show you. Basically ran my 2x4 in here, oops, up underneath the frame on top of the brake drum without obviously the jack underneath there, and basically I'm pushing down on the 2x4 to drop the whole suspension and being able to get the coil spring up inside there. That was once I had my coil spring compressors, it was way easier. Other than that, it was not going to fit. There was no way. I'd have to disconnect this sway bar link and try to undo a whole bunch of broken bolts. Forget that. So or rusty bolts and the brake and everything. So anyway, just gonna jack this back up, put the shock back inside, and then this side is done. Continue on to the other side. Okay, so we've got the shock lined up inside, the shaft. Make sure that you put the proper washer on first. It's got the little O-ring kind of, well, it's got a lip on the bottom, if I can show you. There, it's got some kind of a little lip to it. Get that on. Rubber bushing. Second washer. And then your two nuts. Tighten those up, 14 millimeter. Let's go. GoPro, start recording. Okay, second side, it's coming back together. We've got the shock lined up. Shock's strut, not the strut, not the shaft. So I'm using a floor jack underneath the drum. Shock is leaking, bolt is not coming out. I ain't fighting with this thing. I'm gonna have to torch it. Forget that, spend an hour, not me. Lined up, it's gotta go up a little bit more. Coil spring is in, new coil spring is in. Same method, put a 2x4 all the way underneath the frame, on top of the drum here, push down once the shock is disconnected. Two 14 millimeter nuts up top, and then you're gonna have to fight to get that thing in, because this, unless you undo your stabilizer link, and again, this thing has got a lot of salt, and like, look at this. This is just from hitting the vehicle and seeing what's underneath of it. And I mean, I wasn't gonna fight with other things and breaking stabilizer link bolts and cutting them out, forget that. So did that, forced it down, forced that coil spring in, and there's the original factory one. Now they come with a smooth edge on the top. The replacement ones aftermarket do not, but they do fit in, and use your rubber isolators in there as well. This one was the good one, and you can still obviously see some rust on this thing here. There you go. Not a fun job, but not a bad job. Took me, I don't know, 45 minutes aside to do roughly, I'm guessing, in there. So had some help. Had the 2x4 leaning, person sitting on it, and me inside there pushing this coil spring in. That was fun. So just gonna pop those two nuts back on right here. There we go. And again, remember, this has got a specific side down. You think that they could have just cut this out a little bit more, molded it a little differently, get a socket on there? No? No? Okay, because you can barely get your hand in here to put this stuff on. There we go. Questions, comments, leave them. That's it. 2001, 2005 Toyota Rav4 replacing coil springs in the rear. Cheers.